when I was in 5th grade, my mom decided to take me out of Faith Christian, which I was super stoked about at the time. And I was going to be homeschooled. And for 6th and 7th grade, I didn't really have any friends because, I was homeschooled and like no one was hanging out with the homeschool kid. But my brother kind of took me under his wing and brought me into his group of friends. And that consisted of what we call the Six Bros. And it was me, Dave Fintel, Trey Gardner, Addison Moslow, Cameron Florin. Anyway, there's like 6 of us.
Corey.
Luke Corey. And we grew super tight. Like, we were all in each other's weddings. We were all just like, we did life together every day. Every morning at 10 o'clock, Cameron Florin would knock on my window because he was skipping class. And I told Miss Joy I was going to be doing homework. So it worked out perfectly because she'd leave for the day. And me and Cameron would hang out all day. And then I was 4 years younger than everybody, so they all kind of grew up and moved on, which was awesome, loved them. But it developed this deep insecurity of, like, I'm going to be alone. And so 10th grade rolls around, and my parents are like, well, we're going to put you back in Faith Christian. I was not excited about this transition. And I kind of walked into it with this mask of, like, I am not going to care about anyone. I'm going to, like, just do this by myself. Like, I don't need anybody. Instantly connected with John, Connor, and Evan, who became what we now call the Baby Bros. And that was awesome. We did life together. We moved out together. They moved in with me right before I got married. And then when AC and I got married, they moved 8 houses down. So they still pretty much lived with us. And then just recently, John and Evan were in Lebanon or Costa Rica, or John was going to JMU. AC got a job working nights. And I slowly began to transition back into, like, you know what, whatever. Like, I'm going to fall back into that loneliness, and I'm just going to be like, I don't need anybody. And that's kind of what I did, was like, I hid behind these 3 people, and AC, John, and Evan, and I was like, I don't even want to connect with one place. Like, I was so afraid of the rejection that Adam and Eve are so afraid of, that I was like, I don't need anything like this, I'm good. And then, so one night AC was in Louisiana, and John was at JMU, and I don't know where Evan was, but Robin and Jordan invited me to dinner, and I remember I said yes, and then I instantly got in my car. I was like, crap. I didn't even make up an excuse, and now I gotta go hang out with people. And then I got to Robin and Jordan's house, and we hung out, and it was awesome. And then I remember just getting in my car, and I just broke down. And I remember just screaming, like, God, I want to cover myself in these fig leaves of I don't need anybody, because I don't want to open myself up to somebody. And then it just instantly broke with Robin and Jordan. And I felt this, like, instant desire for community, and like, dude, I gotta be involved, like, I can't do this by myself. So the Lord found me in my fig leaves, and I was like, no, dude, like, I got this. Like, we're gonna transition you slowly, which happened, and it was awesome. And now I'm getting to walk in the riches of having community, and it's been life-changing. But these masks that we build up are like just these enemy's tactics to try and discourage us from the deeper things of Him. Missy Edwards sings this song, and it's talking about how, like, hunger is like an escort for the deeper things of you. And I was so hungry for these things that it scared me, so I hide myself. When really it's like that hunger is good. Like, the hunger to have community, the hunger to pursue these things and to not be alone is good. The hunger to, like, want to walk with God, but be afraid, He's gonna find us anyway. So what was the point of being angry and alone when it's like, really, I could have just been involved anyway? So Ephesians 1:8, and this is kind of I'm not really good at stretching past like 10 or 15 minutes, honestly. And Miss Joy was like, I'm going to be your closer, and then Basil stuff happened, so I
I'm going to be your closer.
So Wesley is my closer, which I'm super pumped about. Ephesians 1:18 says, I pray that the eyes of your heart may be enlightened in order that you know the hope to which he calls you, the riches of his glorious inheritance in his people. Kind of like how I was talking about earlier about the inheritance that my father received from his father and that is passed along to me. Part of our inheritance is to do community together. Like he's talking about his glorious people as part of, and like the richness of that. And that inheritance came from Jesus, his sacrifice. The work that he put in, we get to receive freely from. And this is kind of like off script and not even what I'm thinking of. We've been doing this fast, which is awesome, Leah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys have seen it or feel it, but in the last like 25 days, I think is how far we are, 25 days-ish, there's been this like growth in Dwelling Place.
Yeah.
This sense of community now feels stronger than it did 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
The maturity of the body feels stronger now than it did 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And that's what happens when we pursue God as together.
Yeah.
When we come out of the fig leaves and we're like, you know what? Yeah, I'm exposed. I'm here. Like, let's encounter the Lord together. It takes us to the new depths that we haven't experienced yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
That doesn't mean it doesn't come without trial and error and come without fear. And it doesn't mean it comes without temptation. The other day I was sitting around and I had this moment of like, dude, I love these people. And I instantly was like, dude, I gotta shut myself off again. Because I was scared to be the vulnerability.
Yeah.
But the vulnerability is where we encounter the Lord, and that is when we all come together.
That's right.
And that's really all I got, but I'm super, super stoked to do life with you guys and to move into Cleveland Avenue and encounter the Lord in all new ways.
Yes.
We love you too.
So Wesley's gonna come close for me.